Every day, Melissa gets up at 2:45 in the morning to feed the animals. She lives in Wisconsin, the U.S. state known as America's Dairyland. A drop in milk prices hit a small farm like hers particularly hard.
I never got a honeymoon. I never got maternity leave. I've had 3 kids. I went back to work within a week. Do I regret it? No. Do I wish I didn't have to do it? Yeah. But to hire somebody on a small 100-cow dairy doesn't work. Coming?
Outside, it could not be much colder, minus 20 degrees Celsius. Mary watches over her enormous fields of cranberries.
In a year, we grow about 10 million pounds of cranberries. It's a lot, more than you'll eat in your life.
The owner and her employees accuse Barack Obama of hurting contractors and farm workers. Jim says that his country has lost its luster. He managed this little fire station for 2 decades.
It's a portable fan.
While also working at the local paper mill. The plant closed in 2013.
My 45 years with the company is done.
Tyler voted for the very first time in his life this past November. He and his uncle Josh say they belong to a part of the US population that's despised by those who have held the reins of power for the last 8 years. They are hunters, a popular pastime in this rural state.
So it's got all the fur on the head, and then I skin them down, take the skin off, so then they look like that.
Melissa, Mary, Jim, Tyler, and Josh live in Wisconsin, and they all voted for Donald Trump. They were some of the architects of Trump's surprise victory in this state. A Republican presidential candidate hadn't won here since 1984.
Boy, I hate cold weather. Wish it was easier.
Melissa, the farmer, says she believed in her candidate's success from the very start. For her, Donald Trump is above all the promise of change, the hope of a life that might be a little less hard.
I don't care what the media says, the media is wrong. I said, I've never been so sure about somebody that I voted for than him. And he got in. So it's a good thing. He's gonna make changes, good changes.
Melissa's political choices are rather symbolic of Wisconsin's swing toward a Republican presidential candidate. She voted for Barack Obama in 2008, and she then chose Donald Trump in 2016.
I mean, I voted for Obama partially because he was African American and thought we wanted something different.
He was from the Midwest.
And he was from the Midwest too. I mean, he's born, raised in Chicago, and I can't give you any other reason than that. That's why I voted, because I don't really remember all what he was after. But as far as voting for Trump, that was like a no-brainer for me, absolutely no-brainer.
The president-elect's words on the campaign trail seduced the whole family.
I think the infiltration of immigrants is a very big detriment to the society, because they drag our healthcare system down, because we do not refuse any healthcare to anybody.
The new healthcare system is a major concern, including on Mary's cranberry farm.
Perfect. Thank you, gentlemen.
Gotta have warm clothes.
Right. Well,
it's not even cold out yet.
During the high season, about 30 people work for her. Some have been doing this for decades. Mary has chosen, or rather feels like she had to choose, a new health insurance policy for her employees.
And then, so I filled out most of the information. You guys have to read it and confirm it and then sign it. So here's John's. Yeah.
Everyone in this room dislikes Obamacare, the nationwide healthcare reform put in place by the outgoing administration.
Well, affordable health care is the operative word, and it certainly didn't make it more affordable.
I don't think it worked out the way it was supposed to, no. No, and like I say, most people that got on the Obamacare, their doctors, they can't see their original doctor anymore. They have a list of doctors that now they have to go see. And I don't believe they get as good a care from these other doctors as they do their personal doctor.
That's part of the way.
You know, I guess that's just the way it works. But
Their vote for Trump is meant to undo much of what Obama changed in 8 years. They want to return to conservative values. Tyler and his uncle Josh, the hunting enthusiasts, share this ambition. Rifles are only allowed during certain times of the year. Instead, they set out for the forest with bows and arrows.
Okay, where are we going?
Weapons are the key topic for Tyler, who just voted for the first time in his life.
I think it feels good. I'm not gonna lose my guns. You know, if Hillary's voted, she was anti-guns, and I don't think she understands that guns don't kill people. People kill people. It'd be like saying a fork made you fat. Well, that's not true. I mean, you can't ban all forks. So why ban, something someone's using against other people? So I think it's good that he's going to be in office.
The many hours they spend up here waiting for their prey is also an opportunity to reflect on the image that some of their fellow Americans may have of them.
This is God's country. We enjoy this. We're not nuts. We're not hillbillies. We're just as educated as anybody else. The stuff we do here, they might think because it's not in a book or something, it's hillbilly, it's redneck, but this takes more knowledge and more experience and more talent than most things anybody else can do.
The anger of the marginalized blue-collar worker has been documented at length. Jim Anderson embodies it.
Give you an eerie feeling. 'Cause you know it's going to be the last time.
Jim, now retired, agrees to a trip to a place that breaks his heart. 3 years ago, he left this paper mill after a career of 45
Well, you really
years.
gutted us out, Jimmy. It doesn't feel worth a darn. But that's the way this world is. We're hoping Donald Trump will get some of it back.
We're almost falling in the river. That's why they're kind of slowing down.
A Canadian group bought the plant. Everyone was laid off.
See, there was 500 employees here at one time. And just to see it like this, our biggest paper machine was in that pole there. It was number 8 paper machine.
Jim says that these types of decisions are taken by big business without taking the worker into account.
Every time somebody buys you out, they want to do something to you. Well, this Canadian company, this is what they did to us. The 4th person that bought this, you can see the result. So.
This site was meant to have a second life, thanks to federal subsidies, but in the end, that project never came about. The result was frustration and ridicule on the premises.
Yeah. A little different, does she?
Oh, she does a lot different.
They supposedly had a bunch of government funding. Of course, that was Obama funding. Maybe they'll try again when they get somebody decent in there.
Hey,
He's a Trump lover.
I'm with you. We're on the same page.
I mean, so much. So much that could have been taken advantage of and done.
Yeah.
Jim was the very last employee to have walked through the gates of the old factory.
See, that's all tore down. The building's gone. This is number 7.
It made him into the unofficial guardian, the proud historian of a storied past. In 1989, he and his colleagues printed a special kind of paper. Printed on it was the program of George Bush's inauguration. Enough to make the former worker think of what he wants for his country under a new Republican president.
Getting the economy going, get us strength, give us some respect in the world again. I don't think we're respected in the world. Used to be able to talk and people listen.
As the day ends, the apparent temperature drops to minus 40 degrees Celsius. On this frozen lake, Tyler and his Uncle Josh hunt some more. Ice fishing is a particularly trying job under these circumstances. Fighting to survive is an American value, they say, that has been lost in recent years.
I think just that mindset, the mindset of I want it handed to me, I don't want to have to work for it, is really kind of been the demise of our country.
Night has fallen. They build a shelter, install the heaters, and share their dreams while waiting for the fish to bite.
Just run that through there, so if you did drop it, it's
I want to get rich. It'd be nice to move out, get like my own house, be debt free or mostly debt free. Ice fish all the time.
The uncle is angry with those who still find it tough to accept the result of the election.
Brian's did one time. I dove and caught it. If Hillary had gotten elected, I wasn't going to throw a rock through a window. It wasn't, if Trump Trump got elected, I wasn't going to throw a rock through a window, just because that's just decency. You bring back decency and just common courtesy, like those basic, simple things that is what we're lacking.
That night, Tyler and Josh leave empty-handed, but convinced they are in the winning camp. Donald Trump promised to give them a voice and lead the country towards new and prosperous horizons.
Gallagher Fenwick is here, recovered, I hope, from that ice fishing expedition. How cold was it?
Minus 30 Fahrenheit.
Minus 30 Fahrenheit. Chills the bones. Tell us more about Josh and Tyler, the two guys you met.
Well, I think that what they basically explain is this is their moment. They really feel that the 8 years of Barack Obama are over, and they're happy about it because they were shocked, brutalized to a certain extent. That's the language they use by some of the evolutions that U.S. society went through under the previous administration. They're happy about that, but they're also happy to basically do away with an Democratic elite that they believe looks down on them. I mean, pretty much every Trump voter that I spoke to quoted Barack Obama when he said that folks like them cling to their guns and their religions, and they were equally shocked by Barack Obama's former Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, saying that part of Donald Trump's supporters, and I quote her, are a basket of deplorables.
And this feeling spread right across the state, clearly, with Wisconsin going to the Republicans.
Exactly, but what's really fascinating is how divided the state is. When you go around, you meet both, Democratic voters, Republican voters. It was actually a pretty tight race. And what's even more fascinating is that Wisconsinites describe themselves as just a pragmatic folk. I mean, if they see a good Republican candidate in a presidential election, they'll go for that person. But on the same ticket, in local elections, they can go for a Democrat. So they have this ability, if you can call it that, just to go from one side to the other.
They take people as they find them.
Exactly.
Which is a good thing.
They pick what feels right to them in that moment, what's going to serve their interest. And you also have folks like Melissa, the herdsman or herdswoman that you see at the very beginning of the piece, who have this ability to vote for Barack Obama in 2008 and to go with Trump in 2016. We say that in the U.S. there are red states, so Republican states, and blue states, Democratic states. Wisconsin, you could argue, is a purple state.
Issues like immigration, gun control, obviously played heavy in the election. What is the situation in Wisconsin?
I think that what unites all of these people, and you're right, some people went for, doing away with Obamacare, healthcare reform. Others, their number one issue was indeed, gun control. But what really unites them, if you will, is a desire for change. And it may seem, average, not very original, but it is very telling. They don't necessarily talk to you about how they suffer. There's, not a huge unemployment problem in Wisconsin. And this, again, does away with that cliche of, oh, those who voted for Trump were unemployed, marginalized folks. That's just not true. And when you look at that business woman, Mary Brown, in the piece, she's successful, she's educated, and she hates it when she says that Trump voters are uneducated voters. She says that's just not true. What people wanted is they wanted a change in direction.
And people are still trying to get their head around exactly how that change is embodied by this man of so many contradictions.
Absolutely.
Gallagher, I know you're looking forward to your next ice fishing expedition. Thank you very much for joining us. Gallagher Fenwick with our special reporters program there from the state of Wisconsin. See it again via our website, francevincat.com. You're watching Reporters here on France 24. Stay with us.